This is Late Night Health. This is the radio show that cares about the most important part of your life, your health. During the next hour, the insane Daryl Wayne and I are going to take a look at some health issues that touch each and every one of us. We're going to wrap up today's show by talking about, the pleasure book. We're also going to take a look at a way of losing weight to be incentivized. What do I mean? It means if you lose weight, you get paid. Pretty amazing. And we're going to start our hour together this week with a gentleman who I think has become a good friend. I can already feel it. His name is Dr. Stephen Eisenberg. He is an oncologist based in the San Diego area. He has a new book coming out. It'll be out at the end of the month, called Love is the Strongest Medicine. And we've been talking about love as a force for good for years now. Steve is a little bit younger than we are, so he's just getting into it with love. I've got to say, Steve, welcome to the show. Being an oncologist and a patient comes into your office, their blood pressure is up, they are perspiring, maybe they have a loved one with them, and you have to say you have stage 4 ovarian cancer. First, there's no good way of saying that, and people hear the C word and they say to themselves, I'm going to die sooner rather than later. Am I right?
You've got it. You're right. You are right. And this is where the art of oncology comes in. And this is where love is the strongest medicine really starts to take shape, because when I walk in, they're already in a post-traumatic stress environment. They're in fight or flight, heart racing, high blood pressure, sweating. I have to come in and I have to bring love into the room. I need to bring hope into the room. I need to bring compassion and empathy into that room. So I want a patient to leave that room feeling better than they did when they got into that waiting room. And it just gets worse and worse. So I come in, and the first thing I say to a patient is, can I talk to you like I talk to my own aunt? I want to treat you like you're my mom, I'm your son, or you're my aunt or uncle, and I'm your nephew. Let's just talk. How do you feel? What's going on with you? And that's where the love starts. You've got the connection is everything. Patients are scared. They're listening to every single word you have like it's everything. And in many ways it is. So the first thing I have to do is allow them the space, the possibility to calm down, to be able to listen, because I have to communicate in a way where they can listen, because when you're so scared, everything goes right over your head anyway.
Absolutely. You can't absorb it, which is why whenever you're getting any kind of diagnosis, I've said, bring somebody in, a wife, a spouse, a girlfriend, boyfriend, somebody, so that they can absorb the things that you're not, especially if you know it's going to be a bad diagnosis.
Absolutely. You need to have the support, and as a doctor, you got to bring the love to the support system too. They're taking notes. They're the ones who are your eyes and ears when you're not there. You can't be with them every minute. What happens when they go home? What are they like at home? And with telemedicine, I get a view into the home now. I say, hey, tell me about that painting above your left shoulder of the dogs playing poker. Where did you get that? and we start to bond even with the telemedicine. The connection is vital, Mark.
We have a friend who's also a DO. I should mention that you're a doctor of osteopathy. I always blow this. So
Osteopathic medicine.
An osteopathic medicine.
Yeah.
And his problem with telemedicine, and he does it, but the contact is still missing. When you're giving a patient bad news, for example, reaching out and just touching their arm is really an important thing.
It's vital. It's vital. I can't tell. I've got a cadre of around 100 who I call my little old ladies, who as soon as we finish the medical part, they go, "Where's my hug?" Because they line up. They want their hug. And you know what? It releases endorphins. Cortisol goes down. Your brain is lighting up on MRIs when you're hugging. You've got ice. It's all about laying on of hands, putting the hand on the shoulder, ending the visit with a hug. Of course, masks on, heads turn different ways now. But I say, did you get both your shots? Yeah, me too. Let's hug it out. And you know what? They love it. And they missed it. They go on the telemedicine, I can't do this. I can't give you the hug at the end of the visit. So, yeah, we're hopefully coming out of this more and more every day, the pandemic, and we can start to have that physical touch, that laying the shoulder, the little hug at the end of the visit. It's vital. And I believe in that 1,000%. And there's data showing what happens to your brain when you get a hug.
But many doctors in your position kind of fence off their emotions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They say, you have cancer, here's what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. Rather than, we have to put together a plan together. I've said now for years that the idea of having a doctor, whether it's a DO, an acupuncturist, a nurse, practitioner, all of these people have to be part of the team. But the captain, the admiral, is the patient, not the other way around. Right?
Right. You're right. You're absolutely right. The first thing I say is, hey, you guys are the team owners. I'm your quarterback. I'm gonna run plays. I'm gonna hand the ball off to the acupuncturist. I'll get the ball back, but I take my orders from you. You own the team. I'm the quarterback. Our goal is the Super Bowl. What's that? Remission. But I am going to listen to you. I'm going to be a powerful partnership with you. It's a powerful partnership or it's nothing.
I have to tell you that Dr. Steve is a triple board certified physician. He is also known as the singing oncologist. We're going to ask him to strum something up. We have about a minute and a half here. I'm going to ask you just a real short one. Then we're going to talk about how love is the strongest medicine as Late Night Health continues in a moment.
Here we go. Late Night Health. Late Night Health, it's gonna bring you real wealth, gonna bring you real wealth. I said a late night health, I said a late night health, 'cause health is real wealth. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's terrific. Thank you. Hey, we have a new theme song, Daryl.
Maybe.
Well, that was just on the top of my head. I mean, I could write something really good, but anyway.
That was terrific. Tell us about love in your life.
Well, you know, I needed a lot of love from a whole team of doctors when I was 13 and I was dead on the side of a road after a car hit me on a bike, bashed my head through the windshield, lost the breathing, the respiratory drive the first night in the ICU. It was the love and the compassion of those doctors back all the way in Philadelphia, Abington Hospital, brought me back from the brink of death. And I remember gazing up. My whole face was ripped apart, my blood I remember gazing up and seeing the plastic surgeon sewing my ear back on, sewing my whole face back together. And he kept saying, Stevie, my dad knew the guy. He said, Stevie, it's going to be okay. His voice was so calm. He saved me. He lit the love in his eyes.
Join us at latenighthealth.com. We'll have Dr. Steve's pretty picture up there. They call it a punum. And we will be back as Late Night Health continues. Late Night Health is proud of our partnership with the EBC, the Evolutionary Business Council. Check them out at ebcouncil.com.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Alyn. The show continues in a moment.
Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com.
If you're listening to Late Night Health right now, you're part of the growing target of baby boomers we're serving. Hi, I'm Daryl Wayne, producer of Late Night Health, inviting you to join the Late Night Health family. If you have any business targeting the growing boomer market, Late Night Health is the ideal advertising vehicle for you. From vitamins to insurance, alternative health to Western-style medicine, Late Night Health caters to the growing population of those over 40 years old. This vibrant demographic has expendable income to fight aging, purchase travel, take care of aging parents, or just have fun. Find out about the advertising opportunities with Late Night Health. Call us at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308, or email us at info@latenighthealth.com. That's info@latenighthealth.com. Join Late Night Health as we empower people to take charge of their own health care. Call now at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308.
There's a lot of talk all over the internet about the remarkable benefits of Carbon-60, and baby boomers are especially excited about it. Greska's Carbon-60 is the premium Carbon-60, developed by an aerospace and NASA scientist. 95% of Greska's customers report positive results from this Nobel Prize-winning technology in just 4 days. Imagine more energy, better health, and more vitality. It's very bioavailable to quickly mend toxin-crippled cells. This is a super powerful antioxidant. Bob Greska is so confident that you'll love his Carbon-60, he wants to send you a bottle at 50% off the regular price to see how life-changing this will be for you. Call 720-600-6040. That's 720-600-6040. Visit c-60.com to learn more. Call 720-600-6040 now, or visit c-60.com.
Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne, and we're going to talk about, the Pleasure Book. Our guest is Jaw Gottlieb, medical doctor, and we're going to talk about pleasure. During this last year or so of being quarantined, I don't think a lot of people have experienced pleasure, and maybe it's time that we all have some pleasure. Dr. Gottlieb, welcome to Late Night Health. Would you agree with that we need some pleasure in our lives, especially now?
Absolutely.
With the pandemic?
Mark. Yep.
And what is pleasure? I mean, pleasure can be sex. It could also be a chocolate bar.
Yes, it could be sex. That's often what people think of first. It could be a chocolate bar. That's often what people think of second, food. But then think of joy and happiness, which is a form of emotional pleasure. Sex and chocolate bar are physical pleasure. The joy, happiness, and fun are emotional pleasure. Knowing that you are doing a good job and have enough money in the bank is a mental pleasure. And feeling comfortable with your place in the universe is a spiritual pleasure. So I like to think of pleasure at these four levels of what I call the pleasure prism.
With your training, and you have kind of an interesting background combining Asian therapies as well as Western medicine into an integrative approach.
Right.
Is that how you came up with the I guess the pleasure principles here?
Well, actually, I have 7 immutable laws of pleasure, so it's not just one. And it really came about from working with lots of people as a family medicine doctor in the frontline trenches of basically human suffering and pain. And as I looked into what is the cause, the root cause of pain and suffering in so many of my patients, I worked my way upstream. And to my surprise, I came to pleasure, that much of our pain and suffering is the result of confusion, misperception, misunderstanding, and ignorance of what pleasure actually is. And because we are pleasure-seeking organisms, that is our internal compass, our internal GPS, as it were, if we are orienting towards the wrong kinds of pleasures, well then, yes, it's easy to get lost. And the solution to that is to get your pleasure compass properly calibrated, which, we're all born with it. It just gets corrupted as we get along in our culture.
So it's like a hard drive gone bad.
Well, it's like a compass that is miscalibrated, out of calibration, out of whack. It's
Gotcha.
like if your GPS on your phone was out of whack and you're going across town, you might not notice it. You'll get pretty close to your destination. But if your GPS was out of whack, just 3-5%, and you went from one state to another, you could end up in the wrong town.
You could end up in the wrong continent.
We're towards pleasure, but we often choose the wrong ones, and we end up lost, and that's called disease, pain, and suffering.
What about stress and pleasure? Is there a correlation between the two of those? The less stress I have, the more pleasant life I have, the more pleasurable?
Yeah, Mark, it's kind of like most things in life, it's a matter of balance. And so people talk about eustress, meaning good stress. When it comes to pleasure, to really experience pleasure, it's useful to have a little stress or a little tension, and that's called anticipation, desire. It awakens our appetite, and that primes us to experience pleasure. So some tension is useful.
Right. But too much stress has been shown to cause, not only emotional problems, but can cause physical ailments.
Absolutely.
Right?
Stress is probably the ubiquitous greatest cause of disease, particularly in our modern world. And it can manifest in multitudes of ways and diseases. If one way to know if you're having pleasure is actually the absence of stress. So what I said was that you need a little bit of excitement. That's called desire. That gets our interest. We awaken and we start to move towards a pleasurable experience. On the other hand, in order to experience pleasure, we have to arrive fully in the moment. Desire is always future-oriented, something that's going to be, something good is coming in the future. But the paradox is, in order to actually experience that pleasure, We have to be in the present moment. And the present moment exists precisely between the past and future. So it's a paradox. How to be drawn towards an experience and then be able to stop and dwell within that experience fully. And most of us have quite a bit of difficulty with that. We have so much forward movement, often propelled by unhealthy stresses, that when we finally get to the reward, we can't stop to enjoy it. And that brings us back to what you mentioned with the lockdown. Because as difficult as it has been, as painful and heartbreaking as it has been, many people have also realized and reconnected with the good life. They realize that, gee, not running around and commuting and being stressed out at the workplace, my life actually feels more full. I'm having more pleasure being at home, a more balanced life than what I had previously.
Yeah, and my biggest issue about the lockdown is that I am a social person. I like to go out and have meetings and see people, and
Sure.
that's been difficult. But my refrigerator has learned my first name and tends to call me throughout the day, asking me to open the door and take something out, which, of course, I shouldn't be doing. Our guest is Ja Gottlieb. The book is The Pleasure Book. And this is available wherever fine books are sold, like Amazon. Amazon. It's a wonderful book, and you can discover the 7 immutable laws of pleasure. And it's an easy read, and I think you'll enjoy it. Doctor, thank you very much for making us, giving us a happy and pleasurable time.
Yes, a little taste of pleasure. And my website is drjamd.com. drjiamd.com.
And by the way, Dr. Gottlieb is based in Colorado.
The latest from the greatest, the best in new music by classic rockers, with your host, the insane Daryl Wayne.
This is Alice Cooper, and if Daryl Wayne is insane, what does that make me? Criminally insane. Stick around to find out.
Many of the artist interviews for the latest from the greatest have been captured on audio book. There is a Volume 1 and Volume 2. Great information and conversations with people in the industry and people surrounded by the industry, and of course the rock stars themselves.
I'm the Reverend Al Green, and you're listening to the insane Daryl Wayne. And I said Wayne Insane.
You can find it on Amazon or Blackstone Audio. Search for the latest from the greatest from Daryl Wayne, Darrell Wayne.
Hello, this is Weird Al Yankovic, and you're listening to the insane Daryl Wayne, aren't you?